I seek to follow Jesus Christ. I believe that both the Old and New Testaments are for us today, and taken in context with each other, and I believe in the God of the Bible. So, just like the early Christians did, the original Christians. So what did the original Christians look like? Did they look like the Catholics? Absolutely not. You see, the Catholics, the old name for them was the doctrine of the Nicolaitans. And that's mentioned in the book of Revelations, where Jesus said, that thing which I hate. He mentioned this twice, and telling the Christians not to go that route, not to follow that heresy that was creeping into the church. Did they look like the modern day Pentecostals? Absolutely not. You see, the Pentecostals are a resurgent of the heresy of the Montanist, in which they took and mixed the pagan, Canaanite, and Asian Minor religions, that were devil worship religions, with Christianity, and try to teach that people could have some supernatural secret prayer language for their own that was a spiritual language. The Bible repeatedly condemns this. And even the early Christians wrote that what the Montanists were doing was not what happened at Pentecost, when God supernaturally let people become bilingual, and mentions the names of men's languages, whether it be Latin or Greek or other things that they all of a sudden were able to speak and preach the gospel in, which was actually a fulfillment of prophecy in the Old Testament, announcing the birth of the church, not something that is continually going on. So what did the originally Christians look like? Well, number one, they were Passover keepers. Jesus said, I great desire to keep this Passover, do this in remembrance to me. They were Sabbath keepers. They kept the Sabbath as a day of rest, but then met together on the first day of the week for worship and encouraging each other as like a first fruits unto the Lord of the workday. Jesus refers to the saints as those which have the testimony of Jesus and keep the commandments of God. So they do look at the laws of God not as a way of earning favor or merit or salvation, but rather as a thing of holiness, of doing what's right before the Lord. Besides, 10,000 years from now, it only matter if what we did to please Him, because we love Him, not because of a matter because it will save us. They also believe in salvation by faith through grace only, because even in the Old Testament there is no sacrifice for willful sin. It has always been by faith, whether by Abraham, whether Abel, whether the early disciples, or us today. Also, look at what did they preach. Jesus and the Roman Emmaus preached from the Old Testament. Paul, when the Bereans sought the scriptures to see what he said was true, he was preaching from the Old Testament. The New Testament wasn't even written yet. The New Testament is important for us. It clarifies and helps us we understand what God really meant by the Old Testament.